So, seeing as my last Oz video got over 50,000 views for some fucking reason, I thought I'd make another one today, and today's topic is Vern Schillinger. Schillinger! So, Vern is an inmate in the Oswald State Penitentiary, of course. He is a white supremacist and the leader of the Aryan Brotherhood. Masterfully played by J.K. Simmons, Vern is just a deplorable human being. We are shown this through his horrible and sometimes downright evil actions during his stretch inside of Oz, some of which include raping Beecher, tattooing a swastika onto Beecher's ass for fun, raping Ryan O'Reilly's brother Cyril, who is brain damaged and has the mind of a 5-year-old, killing his son with heroin, paying his other bum-ass son to cut off the hand of Beecher's son, later paying Walt Jr. over here to kill the little fucker.
Fucking die.
Raping Peter Shabetta, after he had already been raped and humiliated by Adebisi earlier on in the show. I don't think I need to keep going, you get the point, this dude's an asshole. Now of course, these events do have context to them, for the most part, but that doesn't justify anything. Vern is a demon, yet he is still one of mine and the majority of the fanbase's favorite characters, and that isn't because his depth as a character or anything like that. J.K. Simmons is just a phenomenal actor, and completely embodied the role of Vern Schillinger. Vern does show very rare signs of wanting to change as a person throughout the show, the biggest example being his relationship with the Reverend Cloutier and his granddaughter. At first, the Reverend was trying to reach Vern, seeing that Vern is obviously a very unhappy and angry man on the inside. Well, and on the outside, but regardless, Vern wasn't having any of it. That is until Vern decides to approach the Reverend this time.
I do want to be happy.
He tells Cloutier that he does want to be happy. He recognizes the person that he has become. It's a stark difference from the Vern that we normally see. He is extremely excited about having a granddaughter, I'll get into that in a second, but he's constantly having visitations with his son's fiance and the baby. It's just a whole lot of bald racist grandpa energy, and it feels like it could be a start of a new Vern. Not a man driven by anger and hate, but a man driven by love for his newfound family. That is until all that shit gets thrown out the window and Vern becomes a menace again. However, I think that this little bit of Vern's story is important. Now, I don't think that this would have ever been a complete change for Vern, like as a person. He still holds to his beliefs and his worldview during this time, not to mention all the pain that he has caused people leading up to this point. I just think that this is a cool little look inside of Vern's soul, quote unquote, I guess, even though it's a very morally reprehensible soul, but a soul nonetheless. What I'm trying to say is that Vern Schillinger does have love in his heart, as long as you aren't Jewish, black, Hispanic, Chinese, Japanese, or really anything even remotely foreign. Oh, and you have to be a member of his family or the Brotherhood. Oh, and you can't do drugs. He doesn't like those either. Oh, and you can't be gay either. He really doesn't like that. Unless he's horny. In that case, he's going to give you a tattoo on your ass and call you his livestock, forcing you to give him suck jobs all night. But it's not gay. It's not gay. What was I talking about again? Oh yeah, so Vern is still the devil. Don't let his bald grandpa face fool you. But like I said, Vern does have the capacity for love towards another human being inside of his heart, outside of wanting to control them over like he did with his sons as they were growing up. So let's get into that for a minute. Old Papa Vern. Vern has 2 sons, Andrew and Hank Schillinger. It is shown to us that Vern raised them to be complete monsters, like his father did to him, teaching them that the beliefs of the Aryan Brotherhood were the unquestionable truth, hiding behind the excuse of wanting to protect what is rightfully his, quote unquote.
I killed to protect what's mine, what God has given me.
When in reality, it's just an excuse to commit hate crimes. Teaching his very young and impressionable sons that the Brotherhood's way is not only right, but noble even. Training them to be his little soldiers to carry out his every command. How could you not grow up to be a complete shithead whenever your dad is Adolf fucking Hitler? Now yes, you could argue that Vern is a product of his environment and his upbringing taught him to repeat the same thing with his children because that's how he was raised, but we are clearly shown that Vern is a pretty intelligent and clever dude, all things considered. I personally think that he was well aware of the damage that he was causing his children. If not at the time, then he definitely realized it after his fallout with his son Andrew. Andrew was sent to Oz about midway through the show, and I want you to take a guess as to why he was sent there. I'll give you 4 choices and we'll see if you're right. Choice A. Andrew caused a car accident while drunk driving. Choice B. Andrew got in a street fight and pulled out a knife. Choice C. Andrew broke into somebody's house for money to feed his meth addiction. Or Choice D. Andrew and his racist friends tie up a black man to the back of his pickup truck, by his feet with a rope, and drove him around town while cheering, drinking, and yelling out slurs after smoking meth.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Now, if you chose option A, B, or C, then you'd be wrong and stupid because the answer was D. Now that's a son any bald, racist father that definitely isn't a homosexual would be proud of. Guys, he's not gay, I promise. It's for the brotherhood, man, come on. Andrew and Vern butt heads constantly while they're locked up together inside of Oz. This is due to Beecher befriending Andrew as a way to get under Vern's skin and just as revenge in general. Getting Chris Keller and Ryan O'Reilly in on the plan. Their ultimate goal isn't flat out told to us yet, but we can guess that it has to do with turning Andrew against his father in some way. Fast forward a bit and their plan works. Andrew is completely against his father and his beliefs. Beecher, of course, had a big hand in this, telling Andrew what his father really is, an evil bigot that raised his sons to be pawns.
Yeah, I look around this room and I see white faces and black faces, every color in between, and the only thing that I know for sure is that we're all shit.
So now Andrew despises Vern, for good reason. He even spits on his family's legacy right in front of Vern and everybody during lunch. This in turn causes Vern to accept that his son is metaphorically dead, disowning everything that Vern stands for and spent his entire life representing. After some craziness, Andrew is sent to the hole, and this is where we see a good example of how just abhorrently evil Vern really is. Vern uses his connections to have a guard bring a bag of heroin into Andrew while he's inside the hole, knowing full well that Andrew is an addict, completely driven by his impulses. Vern did this with the full intention of his son dying. He knew full well that Andrew had a major drug problem, and after everything that's happened leading up to this point, of course Andrew is going to be in the worst mental state possible while he's inside of the hole, leading to Andrew, of course, consuming the heroin that was given to him, and he dies. He overdoses inside of the hole. Vern knew that his son would die and had full intentions of causing his death. Vern is a fucking demon, bro. I've been saying this all video, Vern is completely irredeemable and just a vile human being. And of course this is how the character is supposed to be written. I'm not saying anything insane right now. Vern is known to be just one of the worst characters in the entire show. I'm not making this video to prove to you that Vern is a horrible person. Like, you just watch the show, watch the first episode, and you'll come to that conclusion yourself. I more just wanted to take a look at the character. I just wanted to take a look at his actions and decide, okay, how horrible is this person, and does he have any semblance of a soul left? And my conclusion to that question is that Vern, I wouldn't say has a soul, but more, he does have love in his heart for people that he's related to, and people in the Brotherhood. And I don't even think he loves the people in the Brotherhood. I think that they're just kind of his soldiers. Like, if you're stupid enough to carry out Vern's orders and do his killing for him, then yeah, he's going to keep you around, obviously. Now, Vern did have a wife that passed away, leaving him with 2 sons and being a single father, which probably had a huge effect on him, leaving him more jaded and angrier at the world than he was prior to that. And yeah, he loves his granddaughter or whatever, but that doesn't even remotely make him a decent person. He steamrolls over anyone that he thinks is lesser than them, which is 99% of the human population. And yes, there are very rare instances of Vern having respect for somebody outside of the Brotherhood and outside of his family throughout the show, but like I said, it's incredibly rare. This man inflicted psychological warfare on poor little goofy-ass Beecher in Season 1 just because he was bored and wanted another excuse to pile drive a dude. But it's prison, so it's not gay. So that's probably where I'm going to leave it. Vern was born and raised to be a sadistic, hateful, prejudiced scumbag and carried those traits onto his sons, ultimately causing their deaths. He inflicts massive amounts of pain onto 99% of the people around him with no second thoughts whatsoever. Vern is the devil inside of Oswald State Penitentiary, and that is really saying something because there are a ton of horrible people in the show. So yeah, Vern's a piece of shit. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm going to start probably making this a series. Not necessarily just from Oz, but I just want to talk about characters and some of my favorite shows and just different aspects of those shows. And yeah, that's what this channel is going to become. So if you're interested in that, then sub if you want to. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Peace.